party steps out of the hall through a tall stone doorway, its heavy wooden door long since ripped off its hinges by clinging vines. As they've moved into the depths of this castle, these vines have become more numerous, growing larger even in size until some were the size of tree trunks. It feels as though the castle itself has grown roots turned inward on themselves, attempting to break apart its own cold stone foundation. Welcome or welcome back to the channel, where I have been world building the Feywild to make it a playable realm. This week I wanted to create a Fey Christmas wintry one-shot that felt both festive and atmospheric. So this is the story I came up with. Your party stands in the hall of a Fey king's castle. While traveling through the winter court, their presence became known by this king, who extended an invitation to them to come and visit him for a feast, a banquet. Upon entering, they have found tables laden with food and statues of beautiful Fey creatures with wine pouring from their mouths. What looks like will-o'-the-wisp hang in the air, dotting like starlight, and the king welcomes them with joy and merriment. To really lean into the Christmas theme, make this character, quite frankly, Santa Claus, or at least like Santa Claus, with a long white beard and a jolly demeanor, red cheeks. And when the party members arrive, the king gives each of them a gift that when they unwrap, they find to be a magical item that is perfect for their class or personality or some need they have. And the item can have a toy-like or Christmassy flair to it. Keep in mind that I want this to be set in the winter court of the Feywild. And in the Feywild, there's no such thing as a gift. If you give something, you expect something in return. Maybe your players realize this, maybe they care, maybe they don't, maybe they have no idea. But by this point, perhaps they've noticed that there are no others in this castle. No servants bustling in and out, no other guests, no music being played, although they almost feel like they can hear it faintly as though behind a curtain. Their food always magically appears, their dirty plates disappear, their wine goblets automatically refill themselves. The king does not say that he expects repayment, but he does ask the party if they would be willing to help him. A monster has moved into his castle, and he hoped that in inviting them, he could convince them to help him remove it. He cannot safely traverse the halls, all of his men have been destroyed or long since run, and he can only remain safe in this room, which for some reason the monster has refused to enter. When they inevitably ask what this monster looks like, of what nature it is, he can tell them that it's large, almost the size of a troll, and that it looks as though it's formed from trees and plants. The description of the monster, by the way, is directly pulled from Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. It's a great time, I highly recommend it, and if you want to see a video where I go into details of the story and pull more inspiration from it, I do have one of those on the channel. If for some reason the party doesn't agree or they don't accept their gifts and they decide for some reason that this is a trap and they try to leave, they will find themselves unable to. As soon as they open the door, they will be met with an intense blizzard. Until they can repay him, if nothing else, for the invitation, they are essentially trapped. If they agree to help him, the rest of the one-shot turns into a dungeon crawl through the castle, where different rooms have numerous Christmassy or Yuletide Fey creatures and encounters. Next week, I want to actually create this castle using D&D's first edition Dungeon Master's Guide. I'm really excited about it, so if you don't want to miss that, subscribe, or just subscribe if you want to see more Feywild content. And also, like this video and all that good stuff. What I do know is that this castle should feel Fey and Christmassy. In different rooms, they'll find tall red candles floating in the air, and there's greenery growing inside the castle itself, maybe a forest of Christmas trees even in the banquet hall, dripping with mistletoe, and there's large clusters of cranberries that have been frosted from sitting by the windowsill. And of course, there should be any number of Fey creatures that you could find in the winter court scattered throughout these abandoned rooms. I think it should feel both cozy and dangerously tricky. And as I described at the start of this video, there should be greenery laced throughout, and if they follow those vines downwards to the dungeons, they will eventually find the Green Knight. The Green Knight has made his home in the lowest part of this castle, and as the party draws near to where he's hiding, he will call out to them, greeting them and asking if they have come to help him. Here's the twist. The Green Knight is the true king of this castle. Weeks and weeks ago, if you count weeks in the Feywild, it could just be a long time ago, a jolly old man with a white beard and red cheeks came to visit him, and they had a wonderful time together. There was drinking and merrymaking and revelry, and in an unwise, drunken state, the Green Knight told the old man, swore to him that he would never lay a hand on him unless the old man laid a hand on him first. That is when the old man took to destroying the king's men with a sudden magical attack. Every living creature that lived in that castle he either killed or forced out. The Green Knight couldn't do a thing to stop him, couldn't lay a hand on him, and rather than leave the castle, decided to move further into its depths. Down there, he started to grow himself into the walls and expanding outwards these vines and branches in an attempt to crumble the castle from below. He figures that if he can't drive out the man who has taken over the castle, he can at least destroy the castle itself so that the man cannot have it. And he's probably added some sort of protective magic over the dungeon so that the man can't follow him down. I haven't exactly decided who the old man is, what form of monster he is. I think he would be a really good mage, just like an evil mage. But I guess he could also be some sort of monster disguising himself to have a jolly outward appearance. So if you have any opinions on that or you have any ideas, I would love to hear them because I just can't decide. If he's a mage, maybe he has dreams of becoming an archfey or of having a realm of his own, and so he is started by taking over this castle. Assuming the party goes back up and defeats the old man, the Green Knight can return to his rightful place on the throne. He can retract all these vines, making sure that the castle's foundations go back to where they were and remain just as strong. He can welcome back everyone who was forced to run. He can have a true banquet with actual merriment full of life. And of course, the party deserves some sort of reward for what they've done. Maybe a service or a wish or a magical item like a sleigh that doesn't require any reindeer or horses, but magically drives itself or is driven with reins by the party members, and they can use it while in the winter court to traverse its snowy landscape. And they can also anticipate an eternal welcome into the kingdom and this castle. Let me know what you think of this story. I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty proud, but what's it missing? What can I add to it? What I do like about it is I feel like you can either really play up the Christmas spirit and the Feywild whimsy in that way, or you could play that down and just use it in a normal Feywild campaign as an encounter the party will experience in the winter court. And of course, I want to know any holiday or Christmas themed one-shots that you're about to run or have run in the past, but that is that. I hope you have a great whatever it is, and I will see you next time.